high value, content rich information when you're going to take time out of your day to come hang out with us. So what I did today is ask a couple of folks, and each of them has a different item, a different area within the industry that they're going to talk about. Okay, so first what I want you to do is introduce yourself. We'll go down the line, introduce yourself, how long you've been in real estate, and anything else you want to add that is appropriate for our time here.
Okay, sure. Tatum in real estate since January 1st. Came to Keller Williams because Jen and I were friends for 15 years and couldn't go anywhere else.
And then she left you?
And then she left. So anyway, got my resume out there. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Lance Davis. I'm one of the owners of Les Bailey and Associates. I've been in real estate. This is my 9th year now, and I'm a newbie. Yeah. I'm old compared to most of them, I'm noticing. But anyways, I love it, and I'm just honored to be here.
Cool. Go ahead.
I'm Katrina Benton. I come from Anchorage here, and then some other team. I've been in real estate. I've been licensed in 2005, and I specialize in internet marketing and technology.
Cool.
I'm Keira Dreher, and I have been licensed since January 2009. I started at a small mom-and-pop brokerage in Eagle River and moved over to KW in 2012, end of 2012, beginning of 2013, and it's been the best of my life. Love it. Love the culture. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so going down the line here.
Shaky. Sorry.
Brandon, tell me a little bit about your time here in real estate so far.
It's been a blasty blast. It really has.
Blasty blast.
Totally. Started with Ignite, really, once I got past the Gen 2 part. Started with Ignite. Shana really helped out get our business getting going. And Ignite's an appropriate term for it.
Les said, hey, I need a little help on my team, so I just quickly got my license and was doing transactions for the first year on the team. And then I realized that, you know what, I can go sell with the best of them, and so I started doing that. And, you know, long story short, I moved into the lead listing partner position on the team about 4 or 5 years ago. And my focus has always been listings, and I work very little with buyers. I can get out there and show buyers with the best of them, but I don't enjoy it. So
We're going to dive into a little bit of the numbers in a second. So
yeah, so I'm the listing partner on Les Bailey and Associates.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, everybody kind of has their own stories of why they got into real estate, and so it does have to do with kind of my inception and experience of getting into real estate. My husband and I had decided we wanted to start buying income-producing properties. We did not like the job, and we wanted to find something that we could get income from. So I decided to go ahead and get my real estate license. I was staying home with our kids, and thought that would be, a good pastime for me to have, and it was kind of a passion to start buying properties. Well, things didn't work out as I expected, and a few months later we were getting divorced instead. And so I had my real estate license because I had just gotten it, thinking we were going to be buying income-producing properties. And I had hung my hat at Great Land Realty, went down and said, well, instead of just having my real estate license here to buy properties for myself, can I sell real estate? And they were like, and you know, sometimes you hear the old adage, there's a desk and phone, go ahead and sell real estate. Well, there was an empty office with no desk, no phone. They said, yeah, you can sell real estate. And so I said, okay. I went and bought a desk. Luckily I had a cell phone, and I started from there. So I started from like less than zero. You know, my self-esteem wasn't really good at that time in my life. It was a really rough year, going through divorce and things like that. And real estate has been a lot of work. You know, sometimes I hear people, you know, kicking out these fantastic numbers, and they only work 120 days a year, and you're like, oh my gosh. And I want to tell you, I worked really, really hard the last 5 years. It has not been easy. I have collapsed in exhaustion many times at night, and thought, oh my gosh, this is work. And so it is work. What I appreciate about Keller Williams is being able to teach me how to work better, work smarter, and work more efficiently. And it has totally changed my life, and I'm appreciative for that.
Cool, thank you.
Why are we doing
Yeah,
this?
how'd you get into real estate?
My grandpa's a realtor, my mom, my dad, they bred me to do what I do. They didn't really give me any option. I think if I would have done anything else, it would have not been so good. So I started working for my dad 12 years ago, and I worked as a non-licensed assistant for 3 years, and then just worked with him and then with some other teams for a couple years, and then came over here a year and a half ago. We started coming on the coach team.
Perfect. So let's get into numbers. Brandon, where are you at so far in your short time in real estate? Tell us a little bit about that.
So numbers right now, I think listings 1.1, pendings 936,000, and closed just under 900,000.
Just under 900.
And then I have another 1.2 in pre-marketing listings.
In say that again?
Pre-marketing.
Pre-marketing. So you'll go from 1.1 to 2.3.
Well, hopefully
Unless-
not with those other
Right,
numbers
right.
are
Got it.
dependent.
Okay, and you've been in the business how long?
Since January 1. So.
Okay, yeah, just making sure. How are you finding your business?
I have a huge database, which I haven't started even calling on yet.
I think my dad has made an offer to.
It's too low. I'll sell
We
it
haven't
for
come to terms
$150,000
We're working
cash.
on it, we'll eventually get it, those leads do go scale.
So, very nice, very nice. It's just calling people out of my phone book, or out of my phone actually. I know it sounds weird, but I have another 3,800 people in the database that I haven't started yet. And then everywhere I go, I am the best realtor that anyone will ever be. That's the way I portray myself. And then I make a bunch of mistakes. I'm like, why don't I choose this guy? But it's exuding confidence in what I've chosen to do, and it really comes down to helping people achieve the ultimate goal, and that is home ownership. It's the biggest purchase they'll ever make, and I just want to help people have Christmases and Easters and Thanksgivings in that home, and that's really how I sell myself to them.
So, how did you get that confidence so quick? I mean, you're naturally a confident dude. We get that, and you're speaking Greek the first couple of weeks, right? As opposed to speaking English.
Right. Okay. So I came from the business world. I've owned a number of different companies and then sold them. I used to be a pastor, so that's where the public speaking stuff comes from, and the confidence. But you're right. I was speaking a totally different language, and I was an infant and a baby, and so I just hit the books. And a lot of it came from Ignite too, and Denny's class as well. I was just hitting the books, familiarizing myself with the translations from one business to this one.
Okay, so you had coaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I still do.
Okay. With who?
I don't know. Roller, Sheena. So every Friday now.
So accountability and coaching. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Okay, just making sure. All right, Lance, tell us a little bit about this 90-day listing challenge that you guys are doing. 90 listings in 90 days, I guess is what it's called, right?
Well, we failed. We took 67 listings in 90 days. So, failing forward, year-to-date last year, I had taken 14 listings. And so we blew last year's numbers out of the water.
By like 400%.
Yeah, yeah. You know, but what's even more cool about that is I'm watching my buyer's agents, you know, just my team. I pulled the numbers. You know, Erica's got over 3 million in pending. My wife, who works part-time, mind you, has about 3 million in pending. Paul has 3 million in pending. I mean, these are just, I mean, that they're going to close within the next 30, 45 days. You know, and so that's, to me, is what's more gratifying, is just watching my team members all have some crazy, you know, numbers right now that they're doing. You know, Nani and I had, at Mega Camp last fall, had gone and listened to, yeah.
It's coming up in August, by the way. We'll get you those dates.
Yes. Craig Rieger.
It's called Value We Deliver it here.
And we went and listened to his 90 and 90 thing, and we both came back all pumped up, and we were going to do this, and we didn't do it. Didn't help that we took all of December and January off. But then in February, when we were down there at family reunion, I actually had the majority of our team with us, and so that was like the one session that I said, I don't care what anybody else is doing, but there's the one class that I want every single one of my team members at. And so we had everybody there, and that way we had, because we didn't get the buy-in that we had last time. You know, Nani and I came back, and you know, it lacked of leadership on our portion probably as far as getting the message across. But having everyone attend that 90 and 90 at family reunion, when they walked out of there, like, we could do this, let's do it, you know, and everybody on my team was all jazzed up and ready to do it. And the very first thing that we felt like we needed to do was pull Nani, who I think is probably one of the best buyer's agents in the state. You know, when she was working buyers, you could put her up against any of them, and she would outproduce you guys, you know. But we pulled her from doing buyers, and that was pretty intimidating for her, because in like 13 years or so of doing real estate, she'd never worked with sellers. And so we pulled her and moved her into just a full-time listing position, and our buyer's agents all started prospecting for listings. We stopped prospecting for buyers. In fact, we didn't want no more buyers on our team. That was kind of our thing there for a while. And then, you know, what happened is we got too many buyers. And when we started cranking out, getting these listings, we just got inundated with sign calls.
Will you talk to us, I love the story, and will you talk to us about the brass tacks of what did you do to go get 67 listings?
Well, the very first thing we did was, you know, I have a stack of papers, you know, tax records and stuff of people that I talked to over the last several years that, you know, I hadn't listed, or, you know, I talked to them at one point about possibly listing their property. First thing I did is I just went right through that. That took about a day and a half. Then I was like, okay, and I got about 4 listings out of that. So I'm like, hey, leave follow-up. Go back and talk to those people you haven't talked to for a long time. So I got like 4 listings out of that right off the bat within the first day and a half. Then I didn't have any more phone calls. So then I was just like, you know, I had Paul go back, and you know, Paul and Erica went back about 3 years on the expired listings and just pulled all the expired listings and cross-checked to make sure they hadn't been listed and sold since then. And if they hadn't, boy, we just started researching numbers and calling them, doing door knocking, that was probably the biggest thing that actually, because you know how hard it is to try to find phone numbers here. I mean, most people, I don't even have a landline anymore, and so most people don't have those, and so we just started door knocking. Expired.
So would you go, you door knock the expired?
We would door knock the expired. We had little door hanger things with a little trifold thing we just made in-house, nothing real
How
flashy.
often were you out door knocking? Because I remember talking to you about this a little bit.
Well, somebody on our team was doing it there every day for the first probably half of the time. So this is where we fell off this week. you know, we got so busy that we let the lead gen portion slide, and here we are now where we're like, okay, we didn't make it, so we're gonna do this 90-90 again. And it was a matter of, okay, what did we do well, and what did we not do so well, and how could we improve? And when we did that, it exposed a few areas that we could improve upon. You know, luckily our team had the systems. We've always been very system oriented, and so we had the systems to be able to actually service that many listings. We found out that, hey, you know, we're real strong in our systems. In fact, Kamale, our listing coordinator, who's my runner, does signs and lock boxes there at the end, she's like, how come you guys haven't listed anything? I've only done like two new listings this week. When she, there for a while, was doing like 10, 15. And so I got her pushing us. But the main thing was, it was staying focused and, you know, making sure we got 2 to 3 hours each morning on lead gen, and that was just key.
Okay, so lead gen 2 to 3 hours a day to be successful.
But my main thing was I called it, you know, when Les you know, got out of the business, he's, you know, a couple years ago, Nani and I have this database of, you know, over 4,500 people that, you know, over the last 20-some-odd years either sold a home or bought a home through us. And we just hadn't really marketed that real well, so I just started going through that. Started in the A's, and we worked all the way, we're working through that. I'm still working through it. But I get listings out of it. Every time I actually sit down and make about 15 calls in our database, I'll get a listing. I know it's for 1 every 15, I'll get something.
Okay, and that's awesome that you have that. Most of these folks don't have that, right? And so they want to know how we're getting new business, right? And where is that coming from? You know, that's the 4,500 leads is awesome, right? Who has 4,500 leads? Or in their database? Besides you, because you're a cheater and you use the internet, right? But the key is, how do we go and find new business continually? And what I hear you saying is 2 to 3 hours per day, go and lead generate. Doesn't matter if you're door knocking, searching tax records, going to your database and staying in touch with it, but it is a concentrated focus.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, we're lucky that, I know that our database, if I don't call it, is good for about 12 million in production each year.
Oh, that's nice.
But when I call it, our numbers just skyrocket.
Quick question.
Okay, yeah, just
Do you have you know, the numbers on how many, out of your 67 listings, how many came from your database, how many came from expired?
Yeah.
And signed calls?
Oh yeah. We got 37% were old expireds, and then
More than a
which
third.
that included the door knocking and everything. And then we were at like, I think it was 49% was from our database, and then the rest was just kind of
Just showed
other
up.
stuff that showed up.
Okay.
cool. Okay, you've spoken a lot now. You're done for time being.
Done with you.
Sorry, am I allowed to say that? No? Kira, tell us about where you ended last year and where you're at so far this year and what you do to find business.
Okay. So last year I ended the year at 50 transactions, and this year my goal is 75 transactions. I'm currently at 26 closed and pending, or 27, I think I just kind of want to say, so 27 closed and pending. And so I'm at 104% of where I was last year. I've got 10 listings and more in the pipeline than I've ever had before. So.
And how big is this team that's generating all this?
My team?
She's a rock star.
It's just you?
Well, I mean, it's me. I have a licensed assistant who I cannot do
Great.
anything
Absolutely.
without. So it's, you know, I have people, but it's mainly me. I recently contracted with a fantastic agent from the Valley to do some showing assistant work for me. And I have this summer I have a part-time administrative assistant who's helping me out. She's a school teacher during the year, and she's just coming in to help me out a few hours in the morning, which is helping me to be able to go to soccer every night because my kids have a lot of soccer games in the summertime. And so I focus on leads, I focus on leads. I like leads. I do focus on listings, and what I mean by that, and that took me a little while to understand when you said, you know, leads, listings, leverage. Well, what do you mean? How do you focus on listings? Well, now I get it. You know, every conversation I have with anybody is regarding, do you know anyone who is going to be selling their home this summer that I can call? And when I do my lead gen calls, and I have a coach who I'm highly accountable to her, and I have had a coach ever since I first went to family reunion, my first family reunion 2 years ago, and realized that every single person up on any panel had a coach, so that was a no-brainer. So I hired a coach then, and I do my lead gen calls. You know, I have the whirlwind issue. You know, I'm not perfect, so I'll do my lead gen really great, and then it creates all this whirlwind, and it creates a lot of business, and then, you know, then my lead gen falls off because I need to manage all that, and then I'm back into the, okay, need to get my pipeline going again. When I'm making my calls, my vision for the Keira Dreher group that I call myself is to be the most referred realtor in Alaska, and 83% of my business does come directly from referrals. I don't have a large database. I have about, well, probably up to 350, 400 people in my database now. They're not all past clients. A lot of them are just people that I know, and I market to them. They do get a monthly e-newsletter from me. They get phone calls from me. When I see them out there, you know, I talk to them about real estate, and so the majority of my business does come from referrals and me asking for the business.
Perfect. So Katrina, tell us a little bit about your involvement with Home Finders Texas, Come Home Anchorage, and what your role is, and a little bit about the tech piece, if you would.
So I built my database.
Which is how big?
Which one? I think altogether, all the databases that I manage, it's about 30,000 for all the different teams that I manage databases.
That's a
for.
30? Okay, cool. So tell us how you did that.
But that's not one team.
Right.
That's not one team in one look. That's just something that I am obsessive about, and so I compacted out and doing that for more than one location because it's the same. It's repeatable systems. So basically, I just do what you're supposed to do with the Edge, what they teach in Ignite,
So,
and I just do it.
so everything that you do is in Ignite?
Yeah. That's what I recently went and took classes at KWU and got certified to teach that material. And so then I had to look at it because I'd never taken it. And I was like, this is all right here, wait. So now that's really fun because I get to go around the country and teach people that, something that I get really excited about. And so that's just, I'm training people to actually do like the marketing and the building and that kind of thing in different locations. I'm not actually doing that in Texas, they're actually doing that in other locations that I'm in. But I am training people to do that, and then traveling around and just teaching people in different market centers how to work their EH.
Cool. All right, excellent. So, biggest challenge that you face day in, day out?
Well, I think Keira talked about it a little bit forward. You know, you bust your butt, hit the phones, you get coached, and then you get business. It's like, holy crap, I gotta manage this.
This actually works?
Yeah, what? Everything I learned in your Ignite actually works. So, and then having to manage that business, in turn, is the biggest obstacle, is the fear, and I know this is gonna sound really weird.
Awesome.
Really awesomely weird, is the fear of success. Right? So not the fear of failure, but the fear of success. Because the more successful I am, the busier I am. The busier I am means I'll probably have to hire staff and bring team members on. And so being successful in other businesses, this one is a little different. It's highly regulated. And so you gotta watch your P's and Q's.
So it wasn't regulated before?
It's a hair salon, tattoo place, internet web-based companies, so not really.
Gotcha, okay. Lance, your biggest challenge?
Oh, it's the same thing. It's that whirlwind. You know, we were looking back, and when we were the most successful or had the most going on, we were all as a team. You know, we're a fairly small team actually, but actually lead generating together. And then when appointments start creeping into people's schedules, then we stop lead generating all together as a team. And so it's getting back onto that type of schedule where you do not schedule anything from 9 to 12 period. And keep staying on that mindset that, you know, no matter what I gotta do, I'm gonna keep the schedule and just work like mad from noon to 5 or 6, whatever it is, and just do it.
Gotcha. And Keira, you already hit upon the whirlwind. Is there anything?
No, that's the biggest challenge.
Okay. Katrina, I mean, you're more that technology piece,
Yeah.
and you have a coach,
Yeah.
right?
I have a couple coaches.
Okay.
I have different coaches that help me in different areas, things that I want to achieve in. But I think my biggest challenge really is to keep it like focused,
Mhm.
because I end up like, I just worked 14 hours today, like at the end of the day, and I'm like, why did I do that? And a lot of the time I find that I'm having trouble to let go of things that I have no business doing anymore, that I've already taught someone else to do, and then I start picking it back up. And
So is that an issue with the who?
no, it's because I really enjoy doing 10 hours.
You're a control freak.
I really enjoy doing it,
Oh.
you know?
Just pay yourself $10 an hour.
I talk about this a lot though, and he'll be like, why
See how
are
much
you
you
doing
enjoy
that?
after
You know, so I think just becoming more disciplined about recognizing like, okay, you mastered this and you taught someone else to master this, let it go. It doesn't matter if you get enjoyment out of, you know, blogging. No matter how fun it is.
Find a 12-step program.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I was like that when I was a sales agent as well, you know, when I was out showing houses and stuff, there came a point when I should have leveraged that off and I didn't do it in time, and now just the further I get, like, it's just something that's following me.
Cool.
I'm hard to do.
So what are you hearing?
Katrina needs counsel.
Besides that,
You don't need that.
besides the major obvious point. Just joking.
Like leverage issues, when we have whirlwind, a lot of that can be leverage.
Yep, that's one piece of it.
Sounds like a whole big chunk of it is leveraging, figuring out how to do that.
All right, okay, so, yep. How to get leverage and how to be efficient with that leverage and make sure that you have the right person handing that leverage off. What else?
I hear it all comes back to the one thing,
Okay, which is?
lead gen.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't you just need
Well, plus it's fighting the urge, like what Lance was saying, we all go through it where, you know, you panic and you start lead generating really hard because you're not making enough money, and then all of a sudden all the stuff starts coming at you, and so you get away from lead generating, which is what brought it to you.
Mhm.
That's the whole, I mean, protecting the 9 to 12,
Right.
and Brandon said the same thing, I mean, that's
Well,
that's it.
and that's what KW is built off of, understanding that lead gen is number one. It's the most important piece. And as you get busier and the business shows up, then it's a matter of how do I maintain control over my life? I understand it's going to get crazy for a little while, but how do I maintain control over my life and still spend time with my family? And how do I go through and find that leverage piece? Okay, the leverage piece is one of the biggest issues that we run into, because number one, it's hard to give up money that you're working hard for, because you're more attached to the money than actual seeing what it could be once you have that leverage piece in place. And number two, where do you go and get the information and the tech or the education to hire the right person and find the right person? And then what do you do once you get them? Which is why we have Recruits Club coming up here next month. But it's a big challenge, right? And again, a lot of folks, a lot of our competitors are so, well, they're just all about teams over there. Blah, 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 blah. Well, no, it's about leverage. It's about having your life and living your life, right? And living the biggest life that you possibly can, which is why we promote leverage in the way that we do. Okay, you don't have to have a huge, big old team, but it does help to have leverage pieces in place so that you can maintain your lifestyle. Does that make sense? Go ahead, yeah.
About leverage. You know, I am an individual agent, and as I've grown in this business, I've realized that leverage is not, it doesn't mean leverage only in my business. And what I mean by that is, you know, I mean, I'm a single mom, I've got 3 kids. I cannot do everything on my own. I realized that a long time ago. So there are, you know, in my personal life, in my household life, there are things that I do truly to leverage my time. I don't clean my house anymore, I have somebody do it. I have somebody manage my 3-acre yard, which is a huge behemoth. I mean, I have people who do, so these things are leverage too. It is.
It's a great point.
It's not just leveraging your business. I think of it more as, you know, who are the people around me that helps me to be able to do the kind of business that I want to do and raise the kind of children that I want to raise. And so, you know, I know what that means for me and what pieces I need to have in place and help that I need, and that's leverage. And so, you know, I think sometimes we feel like, oh, I have to be on a team or I have to be this role on a team. There's other ways to leverage yourself too, you know.